So what do you mean by constraint? The rules to be followed for the data in a table. So suppose already you know that some of the rules what we use is not null, null and all. Whenever we are entering a data for a particular column, make sure that we need to enter a data, appropriate data, like how much data we are going to store and what type of data, right? Say suppose varchar or inter. So constraints are used to limit the type of data that can go into the table. So this ensures the accuracy and reliability of a data, right? So we need to follow certain constraints like column level constraints. Every column like employee number will store an employee number, that is it will take numeric value, and it has to take within a range of data like 1 to 100, or what type of data we are going to store. That is how we are going to use a constraint. Make sure that the data is accurate and reliable. So that is how we are using different types of constraints. You can see here the list of constraint, not null constraint, unique constraint, primary key. I think already you are aware of these keys, right? The same thing. Not null constraint means nothing but cannot have a null values, compulsory value, then unique constraint, primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, and then check constraint. So then default constraint. So create index. All these are the different types of constraint. So what we have in this SQL. So yeah, why we need to follow the constraint? Yeah. Yeah, that is how we are having different types of constraint. The first type of constraint, we have not null constraint. So what do you mean by not null constraint? Compulsory value. Whenever I talk about employee details, employee number is a not null, right? Because what is not null means compulsory value. So we have two terminologies we use. One is the null constraint and not null constraint. So what do you mean by null constraint? So undefined value. Whenever I don't know the value, I'll be assigning an undefined value, that is null. Just I can write a null in place of that if I don't know the value. Example, if a student doesn't have a mobile number, then we can use a null in that place. That is how we'll be using the null constraint. What is null? Not null? Compulsory value. Every employee has an employee number. Compulsory value, right? Student roll number or employee number. That is how we are going to use this constraint, that is not null and null constraint. Let me show with an example. Say suppose we have a create query. Let me create a table. Okay, create table. I'll be just taking a table called course table. Let me create a course table, or just we will take a product table. Okay, just take a product table. Then we have, I'm just creating columns, product ID, product name. The first one is product ID. So every product has an ID, that is product ID int. I'm just talking about not null. So whenever I use not null, that is compulsory value, the value we should enter here. Okay. Yeah, let me take another name. Yeah. So then we have a product name, that is varchar of 20. Then product price, then it is integer, and the quantity. Okay, quantity. You can just take it as int. So then I can just take it as null. If I don't know the quantity, how many quantities are there, how many products are there, if I don't know, I can just make it as null. Let me select this query, click on execute. So whenever I'm entering a data into this, I'm just showing you both. Okay, not null and null. What is not null? Compulsory value. The value is mandatory. What is null means undefined value. If I don't know the value for that particular column, I can just use a null. So null is nothing but undefined value. It is not a, zero. Okay, in general case, whenever we talk about it's zero, but here it's not. Null means undefined. Well, I'll just try to insert some row here. Okay, let me insert into product space. Yeah, the name, table name, automatically it will come space values. So whenever I enter a data, product ID, I can enter a data, not null, compulsory value, product name. I'll just take a soap, price 40 rupees. And then if I don't know the quantity, and just I can use null. Then I can use a null. Then let me select this, click on execute. So whenever I just use a null, because I have mentioned as null, if I don't know the value, I can just use a null keyword. If I know the value, say suppose I'll insert another row, product space values. Then I'm just inserting the another row. Okay. Yeah, I'll just use another product face wash, comma. Say suppose price is 100, comma. I know how many products are there. I'll just select this, click on execute. So even though it's, yeah, then I'll just select star from product underscore Lalita, name of the table. Let me select this. Are you able to see that? So why, whenever I use a null constraint, if I don't know the value, then you can just use a null here. Okay. So when you, if you don't give null here, what will happen? It will show that like how many columns are there, so many values we should pass. Say suppose if I insert a value for this, okay, not null I given. Let me insert another row into the table. Insert into product. Then I'll just try to insert the values. Instead of entering a product head, I'm just entering a null. So what I made it here, the column, I make it as not null. I'm just trying to insert null. What will happen? Let us see. Okay. I'll just take a comb and then, yeah, product price is 100 and I'm just taking null, or I can just take quantity. Okay. Let me select this, click on execute. So why it is not being executing the null value? I'm just trying to insert null value for the product type. But what it is showing, cannot insert a null value because column does not allow nulls. So that is how this row is not being inserted. Is it clear? Are you able to understand what is the difference in null and not null? What is not null? Compulsory value. If I'm using a not null keyword, then it is compulsory value. Even though I'm just trying to enter null value, it's not accepting. It's not accepting because already I have mentioned here not null. So if I'm trying to give null, will it accept? Absolutely no. This is one of the constraint what we follow, that is not null constraint. Compulsory value for a particular column when we are mentioning a not null. Even here I'm mentioning a null value. If I know the value, I'll just enter. If I don't know the value, I can just make it as null. So this is how we have a difference between null and not null. What is null? Undefined value. What is not null? Compulsory value for a particular column in our table. Yeah, is it clear? Understood with both the constraint, null and not null constraint? Shall I go with the next constraint? Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Prasunna, any doubt?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is how we are going to use a null constraint as well as not null constraint. Then we'll go with a unique constraint. So what do you mean by unique constraint? Already we discussed unique key, right? So what is unique key? Same like your primary key. Unique constraint. Unique key is same like your primary key, but the one thing is that a table can have any number of unique keys. Table can have a number of unique keys. And the second one, it will accept null values. It will accept one null value. One null value will be accepted. Okay, that is how we are using this unique key constraint. I'll just repeat. Unique key constraint is nothing but unique key constraint ensure that all the values in a columns are different, and a primary key constraint automatically as unique constraint. However, you have many unique constraints per table, but only one primary key constraint per table. Okay, I'll just create a table. There, how can you make it as constraint as unique? I'll be just using that keyword unique. Let me create a table called person table. Yeah, how to create a table? Create table. Say suppose person. Person table I'm just creating. Person ID. Say suppose int. Then we have first name. I'll just take varchar. Varchar of 20, comma, last name, space varchar of 30. Then I can just make it as unique. Okay. Like I'll just take unique for the first name. So some of them doesn't have first name, right? Then I can just take it as unique. So here I'm just creating a table, person table. In the person table, I'm just making one column as unique. So it will accept a null value. Okay, if I don't know the first name for a particular person, can I use a null value here? Yes, absolutely yes, right? So then I can just take another column like age column, age integer. Let me execute this query. Yeah, let me execute this one. So select this, click on execute. Yeah, what was the error it's showing? Varchar, incorrect syntax. Yeah, here you should use a comma. Right, let me select this and click on execute. Yeah, created successfully. Say, suppose I want to insert a data. Insert into person space values. So what type of constraint talking about? Unique constraint, right? A person ID, then person name. Say, suppose if I know the name, I'll just enter the name. Okay, first name and the last name, comma age. So let me select this and click on execute. It will get executed, inserted. Then if you want to insert another row, say suppose insert into person values. So here person first name I gave a unique. I don't know the name. Okay. I know just I don't know the first name for a particular student. I can just use null, comma, last name is Ram. Yes, sorry. Let me write here the single quote Ram, comma, say suppose age. So what I'm doing, what is the first name? Person ID. But first name, I don't know the first name. Whenever we use a unique keyword, it will be accepting a null value. One at least it will accept one null value. Let me select this. Click on execute. Is a query being executed? Yes, right. You can see the one row affected. So let me select star from person. Why we use unique key? Unique key same like your primary key, but the thing is that it will accept one null value for a particular table. If I don't know the first name, I'm just making using a keyword unique. So this is called as a unique constraint. Understood what is unique constraint? Unique constraint. I think we discussed unique key. What is unique key? Same like your primary key, but we can have null values. Unique key will accept null values. So one null value it will accept, and table can have n number of unique keys. If I use the keyword unique, will it accept null? Yes. So this is how we are going to make use of unique constraint. Yeah, is it clear? Shall I go with the next one? Please let me know any doubts.
Yeah, no doubts.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Prasunna?
Yeah, Pranita, one doubt. The primary key and NQ key both are same or any difference?
Yeah, both are same, but one difference is the primary key will not accept null value, but unique key will accept null value.
One null value.
Yeah, it will accept. Yeah, one null value. So,
Yeah,
say
okay.
suppose for a particular column, I cannot take for every column. I can take for any one column.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me show you the primary key constraint now. Okay, so that you will get a difference between primary key and unique key. Say suppose I'll just create a table. So let me create the same table. I'll just change the name. Let me select this. I'll just take person one. So here for a person ID, I'm just taking primary key. Primary key. So here I'll just take out this unique constraint. Yeah, if I select this, just click on execute. Then I want to insert some data. I'll just select this insert query. I'll just try to insert a data. Okay, insert into person one space values. So here what I have taken primary key, but here I'll just entering some data here. Let me select this and click on execute. Yeah, it's working fine because primary key. Then I'll just use null here. Okay, I'll just use null here. Instead of entering a data, I'm just using null. So let me enter some data over here. Like I'll just change the name Rani Singh. Age is 34. If I execute this, select this, click on execute. Yeah, primary key. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, person one. I should change the table name. Yeah, person one. If I select this and click on execute, yeah, what it is showing, what error it is showing? are able to see what column does not allow nulls. Primary key will not accept null values. Unique key will accept a null value. The same thing here, I have used unique keyword, but I'm just using a null value, null keyword, but it is accepting. But for a primary key, if I'm giving null, it's not accepting, because according to the primary key, column cannot have null values. Clear? Understood what's the difference between primary key and unique?
Yeah.
Right? So here, whenever I use a primary key, if I'm giving null, it's not accepting. But even though here I'm using
Your
unique,
voice is breaking.
yeah, one second. Yeah, is it audible now? Just let me know. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, is it audible now?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, now I think now you understood what is the difference between primary key and unique. Primary key will not accept null values, will not, right? But a unique key will accept one null value. And one more thing, for a table, we have only one primary key. But for a table, we can have a number of unique keys. Yeah, is it clear? Shall I go with the next constraint? Yeah, Prasanna, any doubts?
Yeah.
No
No.
doubts. Your
Yeah.
voice is still breaking.
Right. Deepak, is my voice audible?
For me, it is audible.
Yeah, otherwise, yeah, can you do one thing, Prasanna? Can you leave and rejoin again? That's better. Yeah, what are the different types of constraints we have discussed so far? One is null constraint, not null constraint, primary key constraint, as well as unique constraint. So then, next type of constraint is check constraint. So what do you mean by check constraint? So we use a check constraint is used to limit the value range that can be placed in a column. So suppose if I'm talking about if you define a check constraint on a column, it will allow only certain values for the particular column. If you define a check constraint on a table, it can limit the values in certain columns based on the values in other columns in the row. Say suppose I'll just create a percent table. So let me take the same percent table. I'll be just changing the name. So what are the your columns we have? One is the person ID and then person last name, first name and all. Okay, let me use a check constraint. I'm just using check. So what I'm checking here, age should be greater than or equal to 18. Age is greater than or equal to 18. Okay, what check constraint? Whenever I inserting a data, whenever I try to enter a data less than 17, it will not accept. So what I'm doing here, I'm just checking whether am I entering the appropriate data for that particular column in a table. So age int, age is int, then check age is greater than or equal to 18. So let me select this, click on execute. Then, so whenever I'll just try to insert a data into the table, yeah, let me select the same data. Then, yeah, insert into, yeah, the name of the table is person to table, values. So here what I'm doing, I'm just entering product, person ID, first name, last name. So suppose I'll just try to insert data 20. Will it accept? Yes. Is it satisfying the condition age is greater than or equal to 18? Yes. Let me select this, click on execute. Okay. I'll just select this the second one, like the second row. I'll just try to insert another row where I'll not insert data. I'll be just inserting one second. Yeah, Venkatram. So here I'm just entering the data which is less than 18. I'm just entering 70. So what error it will show? Click on execute. Yeah, age should be greater than or equal to 18. I think, sorry, person to table, right? I should take person to table. So if I select this, click on execute. Yeah, what it is showing? What error you can get here? Check constraint not being satisfied, right? What is the condition I have taken here? Greater than or equal to 18. But what data I'm entering here? 17. So is the constraint, is it satisfying this value? Greater than or equal to 18? No, because I have entered 17. 17 is not greater than or equal to 18. In that case, this will check a constraint and it will show an error. Right? Clear? What is check constraint? Please unmute and let me know. I'm just checking the condition here. Age
Yeah.
should be greater than or equal to 18, but I'm entering 70. It will not accept because according to my range, I gave as age should be greater than or equal to 80. But I'm trying to enter 70. It will not accept because this condition is not being matched. So is it allow me to enter 20? Yes, because age is greater than or equal to 18. This is called as a check constraint. Yeah, understood, clear? Is the concept clear why we use check constraint?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the next type of constraint is default constraint. So what do you mean by default? Default, if I don't know the value, okay, say suppose I don't know where Prasunna is residing. So I don't know the location where she's staying exactly. What I'll do, I'll just have my default value. City, I'll make it as Bangalore. Okay. I don't know because if I don't know the value, then what I'm doing, I'm just taking a default value. Okay, that is how we use the default. Let me create, I'll just take the same thing. I'm just writing a query. Yeah, so person 3. Person 3, I'll just take out this constraint, comma, city. City varchar of 30. Here, so if I don't know the particular employee where is he or she is residing, I'll be just using a default value as Hyderabad. Okay, let me select this, click on execute. Yeah, it's working fine. Now, whenever I want to insert a data, insert into, I'll just take the same thing, insert into the table name. I think the code should be closed here. Close it. Yeah. Insert into the person 3, space values, then person ID, person first name, last name, age, and then city. Okay, for Sheila, I know city where she is residing. Suppose she is residing in Chennai. I'll just select this, click on execute. Okay. If I don't know where she is residing, say suppose if I don't know where Venkat is residing, what I'll do, I'll just insert another row. The one is the one second, person 3, values 2, person first name, last name, age, then comma, default. Okay, I don't know where Venkat is residing, Venkat Ram. I'll just select this, click on execute. Will the query work? Yes, because whenever I'm writing this city, if I don't enter anything, if I use a keyword default, it has to insert this value Hyderabad. So let me check how to check. Select start from person 3. Okay, whenever I select this query, click on execute. So for for Venkat Ram, I didn't enter anything. What is the default value it is taking? Hyderabad. Already we have assigned some default value here. If I don't know the any employee where the employee is residing, we can use a default constraint. It will take a default value. I know Sheila where she is residing. She's residing in Chennai. So I'm just entering the value directly. If I don't know the value, then we use a default constraint. Why we use default constraint? To set a default value. Is it clear? Yeah, any doubts?
clear.
Yeah. Default value. Okay, you should use default keyword. Then only this default value will get inserted. If I insert another value, insert into person 3, space values, 3, comma, comma, say suppose, then I'll just use the default value, right? And just close the single quote. Select this, click on execute. If I see what is the default value, what it is taking, Hyderabad, because I'm just using keyword default. This is how we have a default constraint. Yeah. Any doubts? You understood?
No doubt.
Yeah. Okay.